Hey everybody, and welcome to Niagara Wine Videos. I'm Brad, and I bring you the story behind Niagara's finest wines. And today I've got an interesting show lined up for you. We got lots going on the table here, if you can see it. Glasses, we got a Venturi, which is a wine accelerator, similar to decanting wines in a decanter or a regular water jug, I guess, or bucket, or whatever you want to use, pouring the wines out of the bottle and letting them sit there for about an hour or 2 or 3 hours, depending on how big the wine is and how harsh it is. A lot of people don't know this, but wine changes as the air gets to it, as it oxidizes. So if you buy a more expensive wine, or even inexpensive wines, sometimes if you just pour them out for about an hour, they get softer. So it seems like the acidity levels go down. Some people describe wine as they get a burn. Well, this sort of takes the burn off when you let the air oxidize it for a while. It also makes it softer in your mouth, and it also allows for the flavors to be recognized more easily. Sometimes when you just first pop a wine, it's really strong, tannic, and you can't really get any flavor profiles. You know it's a good wine because it's got nice structure, but the flavors need to come around. Of course, bottle aging does that. If you have the patience to wait, 6 to 10 years, most Cabernet-based wines are going to perform well. If you have the patience to wait, 4 to 6 years, most Pinot Noirs would taste a lot softer, and the flavors would be more luxurious and recognizable. If you don't have the time to wait, which most of us don't, or we have the time, maybe we're going to live that long, but we just don't have the patience, get yourself an accelerator or a decanter if you have an hour or 2 or 3. So we got one of these here. Show you how that works. Also, what goes with wines, white wines and red wines? Cheese. So cheese helps also to soften the wine. Again, to make the flavors really be recognizable and pop in your mouth. You'll be really surprised when you take a sip of wine on its own, add some cheese to it. The proteins and the calcium really interact with the proteins and the wine tannins, and changes things up really flavor-wise in your mouth. And it also softens it. Just the texture alone, I like it when I have nice cheese. Softens the wine. So we got 2 things here to soften the wine. Hopefully that helps. And of course we have drop stops. So if you don't know what these are, they're just fancy little things you put in your wine, at the end of the wine bottle, so it pours nice and it doesn't drip down the side of your bottle. These are for sale on the website, so check that out. If you want some drop stops, you can order them and I'll mail them to you. So what are we looking at here? We have 2 wines, same varietal, Cabernet Franc, 100% Cabernet Franc. Not too many areas in the world do that. Niagara is one of them. And in the Loire Valley, Bourgogne is another one. Most people know the Loire Valley in France for white varietals, such as Sancerre, which is Sauvignon Blanc, or Poulet Fumé, which is Sauvignon Blanc again. These are 2 different appellations located on different sides of the Loire Valley. The Loire Valley, if you look it up on the internet, is one of the nicest looking places to visit. I imagine people visit it now just to go down the river in a boat and see all the castles. There's medieval castles, ton of history there. Back in the divine ruling of kings and queens, and this is where the vineyards were planted, right along the river. So it's really neat. And the wines in the red wine, Cab Franc, the 2 regions that are really popular for growing Cab Franc there, or where they grow the majority of Cab Franc there, is Bourgogne and Chinon. And Chinon is the more popular one. Chinon had the same type of respect that Bordeaux wines command in Bordeaux on the left bank and the right bank, I guess. It was really compared centuries ago to what you would think of as in the wines in Bordeaux. So centuries go on, people drink Cabernet Sauvignon instead of Cabernet Franc, and we get to where we are today, where nobody seems to know about Chinon or Bourgogne. But the cool thing there is that there's lots of limestone deposits, and the Cabernet Franc that comes from the Loire Valley seems to have a minerally quality to it. Underneath some of that smoky, barnyard, earthy, rustic qualities that Cab Franc sometimes brings to the table. And interestingly enough, here in the Niagara region, there is nice limestone deposits at the bottom of the Niagara Escarpment, where this winery, Casaba, is located. Their vineyards, so I'll just show you a bottle shot here. It is a Cabernet Franc, and it's located in the Niagara region by the Niagara Escarpment area in, I think it's Beamsville area. Or Beamsvan or Vineland, right beside each other on the Niagara Escarpment there. They have limestone deposits, so the wine should have similar characteristics of that of the Loire Valley. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to test two wines out, one from Niagara, one from the Loire Valley, coming specifically from the appellation of Bourgogne. And we're going to see if they have similarities or differences. And we're also going to soften our wine with the air accelerator and the cheese. So let's get to it. Open the first wine here. Okay, so we're back. I've got the wines opened, corks are out, and I'm just going to put in the drop stops. So you just kind of roll them up and toss them in there. There you are, one is done. And we'll do the other one here. Just put it in there. So we get our two drop stops. So I think the wine that I'm going to try first is going to be the Niagara wine. Since I'm used to Niagara wine, I'm going to let it calibrate my palate, as the critics say. Or else maybe just another word for that would be just get used to similarities that I'm used to tasting, and that will be a good indication of how I can judge the Bourgogne. So without further ado, let's pour the wine into the glass using the Venturi accelerator. And the trick with these things is you have to pour it quite quickly to get the wine to fill up so that it goes through and recirculates with air to aerate it. So there we are. It is through the aerator and into the glass, and you can already smell the deliciousness of the wine. Give it a nice swirl there. You always want to swirl your wine to, again, just aerate it a little bit. You know, it's been in the bottle, it's been in a barrel. You got to kind of just get the air moving, which really brings out the nuances and the smells of the wine. So this wine has got an amazing nose. I love wine like this. It's got like a really deep roasted green pepper. Yeah, so much roasted green pepper on this one. I mean, I absolutely love it. You gotta like roasted vegetables if you're gonna like Cab Franc, because if you do, this wine, it's so nice. You also get smoky cherries and a little bit of black pepper. Yeah, really nice nose. I don't get too much minerality on it. You know, chalky stone, wet stone, river rock smells or water. Mostly roasted green pepper, smoky cherries, a little bit of oak, but not much. Just to give it that little bit of hint of like creamy vanilla smell to it. Yeah, really pretty. And now even some rose petal smells are starting to blossom out in that creamy vanilla oak smell. So really nice nose. So let's recap. We got roasted green pepper right away off the nose, smoky cherries and oak, and a little bit of creamy rose petal smells. So really nice nose on it. The color is fantastic. It's not too dark, but it's a dark enough ruby garnet to really indicate that it's a nice wine with some nice tannins, which is interesting because this wine is a 2008 single vineyard Cab Franc, if you can see that, 2008. And just to let you know, 2008 was probably one of the worst vintages we had in Niagara. Produced some white wines because they didn't need a lot of heat, but reds did terrible. Unless the people farming the vineyards really cut back the crops and really isolated the flavors all into just a couple grapes, you know, and then harvested those very carefully. Casaba is really been known for their Cabernet Francs and their Meritage blends, Bordeaux blends. So they really take their time and have patience and are very skilled in their red wines here in Ontario, in the Niagara region. So this wine here was barrel aged for 16 months. So they let it sit there for quite a bit, maybe a little longer than usual. And it says it exhibits ripe, dark fruit flavors, exotic Moroccan spice, coffee, subtle bay leaf. It says to enjoy this with pork, beef, or poultry. I didn't get any of those nuances or smells in my nose. Maybe it tastes more like Moroccan spices and bay leaf and coffee. So we'll have to check that out now. But for me, really, really nice nose. Man, that roasted green pepper is just really, really strong. So maybe even a little basil, and maybe that's where they're going with the bay leaf. It's got that herbaceousness to it. So let's give it a try here. And yeah, really nice long finish. Nice wine. For a bad vintage and for a wine that's struggling to be, you know, its own, struggling to be full body, it teeters right on the fence. You know, it's medium bodied, I'd say. It doesn't reach the full body potential. And again, it's maybe just because the grapes didn't ripen as much as they could have that year. But It doesn't really take away from the wine. It gives it a subtleness, a freshness. It's got nice finesse in your mouth. You know, I often think medium body wines are, you know, kind of a waste of time. But this one here sits in the middle, and it sits in the middle very nicely. It's classy and really does what it's supposed to do. Instead of being a full body wine that didn't make it, you know, was an afterthought and it's watery or flabby. This one here is really structured. Got nice dry tannins. The flavors are actually quite complex in your mouth. You do get nice herbs with smoky cherry and that green pepper. So for me, the nose is consistent with the palate. It's got a really nice soft finish. You know, this is a really nice wine. I like this wine. Maybe not a big blockbuster wine, but this is a great food wine. It's a great wine that if you're not used to having Cabernet Franc, is a good wine to start on, because instead of being really harsh and tannic, it's really smooth and complex and put together, and it still gives you those nuances and flavors that Cabernet Franc always brings to the table. So nice introductory wine, I think, and one that I could drink all the time. Really smooth, really nice. People will like it just for that reason, the smoothness. So let's move forward to the next wine. This is a Bourgogne coming from the Loire Valley in France. It's 100% Cabernet Franc. So you can see that right there. Cabernet Franc, 100%. Loire Valley wine, appellation, Bourgogne. So let's put this one through the Venturi and see what's happening. So we're just going to give this a swirl again. And this wine here is a 2007 vintage, not a 2008. So it's got 1 year extra of bottle age. And 2007, to my knowledge, again, wasn't the best year in the Loire Valley for Cabernet Franc. And right away, the color is different. It's a little bit lighter. It's a little light purple, even like Bloody Mary type color. I know you guys can't see it, but I can. We'll just try and hold these two up to the line. Which one's darker? You know what? They're actually pretty similar in color. I would say, yeah, this has got more of an orangey color to it, and this has got more of a ruby color to it. Maybe the 1 extra year of it aging has given it that nice, orangey color. So let's see what's going on in the nose. Always swirl your wine, remember? And this nose is a little more closed down. It's not as exciting as the Niagara Cab Franc, the Casava. This one here, just right off the bat, I got like mulberry flavors. Really, really pretty though. Really like potpourri like nose to it. And you get more of that rock that I was talking about. Most of the wines I've had, Cabernet Franc from the Loire Valley, very mineral driven. It's like sucking on a rock that you just pulled out of a river or a lake. But it's got really nice berry flavors to it. I really like this nose, actually. It's not as exciting. It's totally different. It's the exact same varietal, Cabernet Franc, but growing worlds apart. One France, Loire Valley, one Niagara region. Old world, new world. Like I said, these wines were, drank by the divine rulers of France at one point, so I guess there's something to that. It's got a really pretty nose. Wow, so this wine's way different. It's not worse. I don't know if it's better. It's just really different. This has got a really nice dose of soil. I don't want to say manure, but something similar to that. When you drink it, it's got a really nice soily, earthy, I guess is a nice way of saying manure-y, taste to it. Not that you eat manure, or maybe smell a taste, I don't know. Let's see here. But really deep berries, red berries on the nose. And mineral. Yeah, you get like that watery mineral taste in your mouth. So, classic Loire Valley Cabernet Franc. I didn't fall in love with Loire Valley Cabernet Franc. I love Niagara, and maybe because I'm biased, because I've been drinking that a lot growing up and throughout my life. But the definitely the flavor profile, the complexities of Loire Valley Cab Franc, definitely worth seeking out. I really do like this wine, actually. I would score them probably similar. Different flavors and smells, but really both nice made wines. Nice, complex, and different in their own ways, but very nice in their own way. So let's try again. Let's try the wine with the cheese and see what's going on there, because this is always fun. So I have some nice Gouda, just mild Gouda cheese that we're going to cut here and try. So let's quickly try the cheese here. Let's go back to the Niagara wine. Remember, we're adding proteins in the cheese that mix with the proteins of the tannin in the wine to really soften it. Try it out here. And woo! That spicy green pepper, you can even pick it up even more. It pops huge in your mouth. So that's pretty cool. Also makes it the finish much longer, and maybe because there's still cheese hanging out in your mouth, so the wine is clinging to the cheese and you can really taste it for a little while longer. Like I'm still tasting it right now. Very nice. Let's try this out here. Cheese. Heading back to the Bourgogne. Let's give it a shot here. And there it is. The cheese actually brought out a heavy, heavy dose of minerality in the wine. And minerality, what I define as, is if you drank fresh lake water or had a stone in your mouth. If you're by the rocks by a beach, and after they get wet, when they dry in the sun, you smell that baked rock smell, that minerality smell. It's kind of what you smell in the wine. It's also what you taste if you were to put those rocks in your mouth and let them sit in there and taste them. So the cheese enhances the minerality in this one. The cheese enhances the flavor profile of the green pepper in this one. Depends what you'd rather drink, a wine that tastes like green pepper or that tastes like rocks. So, that's it. One other thing I want to point out to you guys, which is kind of fun, which I do, is how I score wines. I score them with a 5-star system, and you can print this out. Just go to the top of the website, press on our 5-star system, and it shows you how to rate wines. So usually what I do, if we want to go back here, to rate this wine, which is the Casaba 2008 Cabernet Franc from the Niagara Escarpment area, is the appearance and nose. So the appearance and nose, I really thought it was a little bit thin, not as dark as it could have been, but the nose was great. So I'd give it a half star there. And the flavor complexity, I thought it was actually pretty complex wine. The flavors did pop, even though it was a poor vintage. They did a really good job of making the flavors come around. So I'd give it a star there, full star. The body, light, medium, full. In this case, instead of being medium to full body, it was medium bodied, but I think it was supposed to be medium bodied. They didn't try and make it bigger than it was, and it became austere and off balance. So I'd actually give that a star there. I think it's the only wine I've given a star to that's medium bodied. I think it was supposed to be medium bodied, and it was nice and luxurious in my mouth. So I give it a full star for sure. Structure and balance. Again, I thought the structure and balance was really, really good. It was a very well put together wine. The finish, again, it was a long finish. Yeah, I liked it. And would I buy it again? Yeah, I would. I really do like this wine. According to mine, I would give this 4.5 stars, which is a pretty high score for a wine that's coming in at around $20. But that's just for my palate. Maybe if you drank it and you didn't like that green bell pepper taste, you might have been turned off, and this would have been a wine that had 1 or 2 stars for you. So for me, I really did like it. And I think similarly, the Bourgogne, maybe I would give it 4 stars, just because the flavor profile for me, I do like rocky minerality in my wine, but I don't like it to taste so much like that. It just had berries. I couldn't really isolate if it was raspberries or blueberries or strawberries. Just kind of a potpourri type smell and nose. It was very pretty, but I didn't like it as much. If I had to drink the two, I'd be drinking the Casaba tonight. So, if you want to rate your own wines, which is kind of fun, and see where your palate sits and your flavor profiles and all that kind of stuff, and kind of discover what you like and what you don't like, the 5-star system is really fun, and it's fun to do with your dinner parties and stuff like that. I always find when we're sitting around with friends after sipping wine, we pull out the 5-star system and compare notes, and it's always hilarious to see what people come up with. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned even a little bit. If you want to send me a comment or you have a question about the show, make sure you use the question box, or you can send messages to me, and I'll send them to wine experts or to myself or others in the wine industry that can answer questions you may have about this episode or the episode that you watched yesterday or tomorrow, what you're going to do, right? Anyway, cheers. Talk to you soon.